I have. I have.
What
Yeah,
a
I'll
great
go
way to
through I'll go through my phone or go write a note or something on Evernote, and it'll be like, "Hey man, there's too many devices on here. You can only have two."
Huh?
And I'm like,
"Oh, I only have one device on there, and you have one device."
"Yeah," but the other day there was like 4 devices on there, so I deleted them.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, and so like I just try to make sure that I see your Samsung only one. I don't know its numbers. I just know it says SM,
Mm-hmm.
and I try to keep that one.
Welcome back. What up? Not much, man. How are you?
Welcome back.
Good.
Sorry, we took your chair. You can
Yeah.
the chair or the bed when we can. We're just, I think, shooting a video.
Oh shit.
I guess if you call it shooting.
I mean, call me shooter.
Yeah. So what were we talking about? Before Evernote.
Before Evernote, we were talking about.
Oh well.
Lord of the Rings.
First, I think I should say, it's been a long time coming,
Hey guys, it's been a hot minute.
but we're finally making a new episode. It's been about 6 months,
Yeah, even
give or take 3.
have you been popping episodes every?
No,
Oh,
no, we
okay.
really took.
Oh right, because we actually took a full hiatus.
an actual hiatus. Yeah, we've just been releasing videos since January, but it was what we recorded in like July.
Yeah, holy crap, it's been a hot
And
minute.
do you remember what it was?
The last thing I remember was
they
us
know.
doing the racial thing. How racist are we?
Yeah.
Okay,
Exactly.
so that was actually the last one.
Mm-hmm. That's the last thing we recorded, and it's just now getting put in the public eye. And I made sure to word it in a way that made it very controversial sounding.
So you went for clickbait?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, I titled it. I've been like on Sisyphus. I've been pitching it to be like, hey, you should check out my channel where I sit down and ask a black guy racist questions. And then Cyrek was like, just know what you're doing. And I'm like, shut up.
It's like, just stop.
Shut up. That's what I'm
Totally
doing.
asking a black guy racist questions.
Asking a black guy racist questions. Click on my video. Click on my video.
I was like, I love the idea of that because, I mean, in reality, I guess some people won't see it as that way, but, I mean, if you break it down, it really is asking me racist questions.
Yeah, exactly.
Where it's like, how do you feel about them asking you this nonsense and
Well,
or telling you what you should be doing?
Technically, it was telling. That was the twist at the end, is that I revealed to you that this is not a questionnaire. This is a statement of fact.
Yeah, we're like, oh my god.
That it's like, because I just, instead of reading it as it was written, I worded it as a question.
Yeah, because I remember, one of them, I was like, I don't even know how to begin to answer that, as that sounds weird. It's crazy.
Yeah, I had a hard time with a few of them. But I think that was a pretty cool twist. Hopefully the audience will like that too. Of at the end being like, by the way, these were all statements. And if you disagree with any of them, you're a racist.
I mean, yeah, according to...
And then we both disagreed with several of them.
Yeah, according to the powers that be, it was like, I guess we're racist.
Yeah. But I guess it wasn't racist because they removed it. The only way to find it is to look for the archive.
They removed it because they realized they were wrong?
I think so.
Because I feel like a lot of...
I think complaints.
I feel like a lot of normal black people who aren't super right or super left, just normal people, probably looked at it the same way I did and was like, what the heck are you telling me, I guess in reality, telling me that I should be like, when it's like, I'm just a person, I just want to be me.
Yeah, I don't really remember any of the things individually offhand.
Yeah.
But I definitely remember that a lot of them was like, how on earth can you equate your race or being a racist to this, like religion? I remember that there was one about religion, and I'm like, how on earth are you saying that one way or the other that you view a religion makes you racist or not?
Yeah, well, it's because I remember if I remember properly, the Judeo-Christian one was they're like, it's primarily white people.
Right.
And so that's how they equated.
I think more accurately, it was talking about if you believe in any theology that thinks there's only one deity.
Yeah.
It's like that was racist.
They're equating that as being like, you only see one person or one race as the proper people or what nonsense like that. And it's like,
yeah, I know.
It's like, I mean, I feel like anyone can be religious, no matter how you look at it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like...
But, so that's fun. That was the last thing that we really did. But yeah, Lord of the Rings, we were talking about the ending and how long it was. And we like it.
Return of the King specifically. Because I have some friends who don't watch Lord of the Rings, or one that did watch Lord of the Rings with me, and we watched my extended edition, and she's like, oh, this is done? And I was like, oh, this was just halfway through the movie.
Oh, you tell them like when it gets to the Switch DVD part, and it's like, oh, finally, we're over. And it's like, no, we got to do that again.
Yeah, she was not having it. She thought that was the end, and she was super happy about that. She's like, it's a weird cliffhanger, but I'll go with it. I was like, no, that's not what's happening here.
No, these are when movies were good.
Yeah, she has not picked it back up.
That's unfortunate. Is it someone who likes Harry Potter?
Yes.
Well, I don't like people who like Harry Potter, so.
I mean, I love people who like Harry Potter, but like, only because I want to debate them.
Can I not be sensationalist?
You can.
Okay.
You can be whatever you want. I'm just
Alright.
saying what I meant.
I'm going to be a sensationalist, and I'm going to say I don't like people who like Harry Potter.
I do think they're interesting because I hate the books. Like, and I
I
know that's
haven't
a
read them
controversial statement
I
for
haven't read them.
for
I'll have to read them one day.
our generation because a lot of people growing up and people my age I've ran into later, it seems like almost everyone's read Harry Potter. And I'm like,
Yeah, no.
Dude.
Well, it's almost like they treat Harry Potter like their Bible.
yes.
Which is insane.
And like they know so many quotes, they know so much about the details and backgrounds. And I'm like, when I read the books, I know there were some details.
Now,
And
granted, Harry Potter is a allegory for Jesus.
yeah, I mean, he
I
does
think-
die and come back to life.
Right. I think it technically is an allegory, right?
Mhm.
Where it's not a retelling. It's just a reference of like. Is allegory the right word? I think it's the right word. It's an allegory.
I mean, allegory is just something that you use in place of telling the story. So yeah, I think it's an allegory.
I think
where
it's
it's like
allegory.
you tell the story in a different form. Just like
Mm-hmm.
Game of Thrones is technically not for a person, but an allegory for the War of the Roses.
Yeah.
And it's
We
like,
were talking
it's
about that the other
literally
day,
the
too.
same story,
Right.
just with fantastical things going
Mm-hmm.
on.
So yeah, it's an allegory, right?
Uh,
Which that makes me think. King Arthur.
I love King Arthur.
King Arthur. I didn't know this until I think a year or so ago. That it's actually just a collection of stories that aren't related to each other, and then they just made the main character King Arthur.
It's the same thing with Vanderbroek. What is his name? He's a Viking.
Oh, I don't know.
Ragnar, right? I think it's Ragnar Vanderbroek. I don't know if that's his proper last name, but or even Robin Hood, where they are people that we don't actually know if they existed
Right,
or
right,
if they're
right.
a collection of people who
Mhm.
got turned into one person at some
Mhm.
point due to legend and mythos.
Mm-hmm. And with King Arthur, it's pretty much sealed that
Yeah,
we don't know if he existed or not, but it's determined that it's like all these different people who wrote about him were probably writing about different events, and
Yes.
then just said, King Arthur did it, because at that point, King Arthur had already been established in mythos. So if you said this is about King Arthur, then you already in your head know what the traits of the character are.
yes. You don't have to. No one no longer has to explain this character and
Mhm.
retell another whatever about
Yeah.
like all his personality traits and this. that,
You're
and the other.
basically, it could have been that you're just, as a writer, saving yourself the trouble of having to explain who the main character is, his motivations, his,
Yes.
all that stuff, because you could be like, no, it's King Arthur.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay, well, I know who King Arthur is.
I do think that's actually interesting if we're talking about those, King Arthur and people being collaborative. Robin Hood and Ragnar are the only two that have been close to being proven as real people.
Interesting.
Like King Arthur, as you said, it's like it could be a collaboration of everybody, and then someone be like, "Yeah, we just essentially made up a person."
Yeah, it could have been a real person, but the collection of stories is basically like
The idea
a
that
series
multiple
of fan
people.
fictions
Yeah,
that all say, yeah, we're going to use that character.
exactly. Because like you could have been telling a story about this one guy, but
Mhm.
due to translation and time passage, it could actually be like 10 different people. that
Right.
had-
Yeah. Like each story
Yeah.
could be a different person, but it's just like, bro, we'll just give all the credit to King Arthur.
Yes, and like it's like because if you really break it down, some of the things of King Arthur specifically were passed over multiple years.
Mhm.
Where like the storyline, you're like he would have to have been like at this point 50 years old, and you're telling me he's running around on his horse doing this crazy stuff during that time period.
Uh-huh.
It's like he probably would have been sick and dying at this point because that was considered old.
Bro,
It's like-
30 was old.
Yeah, no, I mean most people didn't live past like what 35, 36, I think is what it
I
was.
thought it was less. I thought it was like 24.
I mean, well,
26.
I guess I'm more meaning like if you're looking at the majority of like peasants and other people, yeah, they didn't live that long. But people who were well off or wealthy, they
Okay.
technically lived until about like 36 or something like that.
Okay.
Where it's like because they ate mercury like crazy. Like that was a time period.
That kills you.
Yeah, but they didn't know that. They thought it was
Oh,
like
it
this
doesn't.
crazy thing.
We've probably talked about this on the show before. Isn't that where the whole like
Yes, the
tomatoes
tomatoes.
that people
Yes,
came from?
because they thought tomatoes were poisonous because people would eat tomatoes, but it was actually just drawing the mercury from the place they were using.
Uh-huh.
And so when they ate it, they died, and they were like, "This fruit's poisonous."
Mm-hmm.
It's like no.
Yeah, but no, it's actually that you had too much mercury in your stuff, and the tomato helped
pull it out.
pull it out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
'cause,
and
like-
absorb it.
Yeah, it's just like it
So
just
you
became
die
a
of mercury
poison fruit
poisoning.
because you were literally using an acid that draws.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
But anyways, get back to what I'm saying.
No.
Yeah, Ragnar. Ragnar and Robin Hood are the closest to being proven as real people because we can backtrack them to having a family lineage.
Ah, okay.
And though we don't know who these specific people were, because it could have been like this father and then this son, and like so it could still be an amalgamation, or amalgamation, is that a word?
Amalgamation, yeah.
Of 3 to 4 people, but in this family line.
Okay.
Versus where King Arthur, we don't have any family line or trees to follow through to be like, it was this line of family. Those two, we do have it. Because we do know that, I forget what Robin Hood's last name is, but we do know
Hood.
that, you know, that's not
It's Robin Hood.
Robin wasn't even his first name.
Sir Hood.
But he was a baron's son. So like
Baron Hood.
where we see like because a lot of times I feel like stories always made it feel like he was a prince or a statesman, but I mean
I thought he was a fox.
statesman. I love that movie, but the statesman is probably closer to a baron.
And King George was a lion, or is it Henry? It's George, right? Is one of the Georges?
Yeah, I feel like that's correct. I don't remember.
Yeah, a lion.
Yeah, but he was a lion. I don't know if it was Henry or George, but I think you're right. It's George.
Yeah.
And then
which is really weird that England decided to have a lion as a king. That's crazy.
I mean, it makes sense. The figurehead when they were exploring Africa and really their biggest predators in that area really is.
Yeah, but then to make one king, that's crazy.
It's because of the belief of what lions like pride.
Yeah, but how do you know what his
role?
edicts and stuff are?
What a lion's edicts are? I eat whatever I fucking want.
Right.
Oh, sorry. But like,
right. So
but that makes sense though for a king. Think about it. Like,
I guess
you look at a king.
All the court gestures and all the people of the court are just going to get eaten.
I mean, if you had an actual lion, yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. You seen the movie?
Yeah.
Robin Hood was a fox and then the king was a lion. Why would you have a lion as a king?
Well, because they were also representing him as a tyrant.
And
which makes sense.
The Circle of Life is dumb. Lion King's an awful movie.
But like,
start that.
Oh yeah,
open
yeah,
that can of
that
worms.
was absolutely terrible. Because
like, open that can of worms so that people in the comments can yell at me.
As that one guy said in the video that I love watching, he says, "That's unfair for some of those people because like one is clearly getting a better deal. The lions are totally getting a better deal. They get to eat whatever they want, and then when they die, the gazelles and all the other ones eat their body. It's like, yeah, but while you're alive, you're literally just murdering all these things." Well, you know what? I think technically hippos are the most dangerous
hippos
in Africa.
are very dangerous
Because like lions won't mess with them at all, and it's simply just because like when they go in water, the hippos are very territorial, and they do some. I don't remember what all I read about it, but they are very territorial and very aggressive. And it's like, okay, so don't mess with hippos. Yeah,
that's right.
Although they look like the most adorable little fat things that you're just like, oh, he's probably sweet. And it's like, no. They're super mean.
No, he'll kill you.
He doesn't care what you are. It's like, and then you look at elephants, and for some reason, they could really destroy some stuff, and they're just like, I'm scared of everything.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I think it's really funny. Although, like, I'm totally for. Don't take this the wrong way. I'm for animal reservations and like animal protection and stuff like that. We, as a first world country, completely separate from what it's like to live in the Sahara, have way too much, like, don't kill elephants and don't hurt the lions and all that stuff. And it's like, no, if you live there, an elephant is the scariest thing ever, because if there's an elephant nearby, it's like, at any moment, they could all stampede and kill all of us.
Yeah, and it's only because they were scared of this tiny creature or whatever.
So, like, the tribe, because I have friends who have gone, and they're like, yeah, if a tribe sees an elephant, they immediately send out a hunting party, because they're like, if that elephant goes away and it has friends come back, they could have just killed all of us, so we got to kill them to keep them away from our area.
And that's what I was saying, like,
and then we're sitting here
because they're so strong and powerful, they can do whatever.
But when we sit in our nice fancy houses with our air conditioning, and we say, we've got to protect those elephants.
Yep. Yeah, because we look at them and we're like, they're gorgeous creatures, preservation. It's like they're part of the cycle of nature and life, and we're like, but we don't understand the actual true fear of like,
of at any moment an elephant could crash through your front door and kill your children.
Yes, like people wanting to preserve lions. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm a huge cat fan. Like, that means all of them, big cats, small cats. I love cats.
I like big cats better than little cats.
I definitely do too, but like, I just love cats. But when you're looking at them and people are like, let's preserve them, it's like, yeah, but you've never, as you said with the elephants, you've never been in the jungle or the Sahara or wherever these particular big cats are. They can mess you up.
I'm just saying, if the bobcats out in the foothills of Tennessee decided to come into town, people would change their mind real quick about having bobcats around.
Well, people also forget that, because this saying that, like, people forget that, what, like 100 years, 200 years ago, we saw a bobcat and killed a bobcat.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we knew that bobcat could come in easily before they understood what humans were. Well, and steal children. Uh-huh. Bobcats used to come and kill kids, and like, because they were small enough that they could take them and eat them. And it's like, so we definitely did have that fear at some point, but because so many years have passed, we've got better weapons. The bobcats have learned to be afraid of us due to nature,
and you know, thinning out the population.
Yeah, and it's like, so they've learned that humans are terrifying things, so we don't have to deal with them, and we're like, oh, they're just so cute and adorable. And it's like, yeah, but they will mess you up, just like a mountain lion. Mountain lions are still very vicious, but they've also learned, due to us populating America, that humans are dangerous and don't get near them. But
exactly.
You corner any animal, it will mess you up so quickly, because we just don't have that protection. We don't have strong hides. We don't have claws. And it's like, all of our evolutionary things, if you want to say, have taught us to be weak in the reality of it, because we've evolved ourselves to be weaker.
Yeah, we've learned how to outsmart the things that could kill us rather than being able to just take them on in a fight.
Exactly. It's like, because I'm sure, like, way back when, maybe our ancestors, I don't know, could probably, I wouldn't say punch in and then go barefisted, but they probably stood a better chance than any of us would.
Well, I mean, you say probably stood a better chance, and I mean, I would say they would, but that's because it's like, if we're out having a family picnic and a bobcat showed up, Dad's pulling a sword out, or if we have guns, pulling a gun out and immediately going on the offensive.
Yes.
To be like, my family's not going to die today.
I'm going to attack you before you attack me.
Yeah, and I'm going to be like, run back to the house. Yeah. I'll see you later.
Maybe.
You know? Well, you obviously be confident and say, I'll see you later, because you don't want to be afraid.
Give them
but
that
then
courage.
It's like, either you're like, I'm going to die here fighting you so that you don't attack my family, or I'm going to kill you and protect them. And I don't think today, I'm just saying, if today we had the trendies going out and they go camp and then they see a bobcat, they're going to be like, oh, it's so precious, and then get eaten.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen. And not know what to do.
The problem is,
like, have you seen videos of people who go on the, like, where you can drive your car through, like, a park, and, like, the wild, the animals will come up around you and everything, and they'll, like, roll the window down and, like, basically just get beaten up by whatever wild animal is out there, and then it's like, guys, just keep driving.
One of the ones that I saw, I don't think
they panic and they freak out and they don't know what to do. I saw a family, there was one video where a family decided to get out and have, like, a picnic while there was, what are they called? Not buffalo, it's not a gazelle, but it's another Saharan thing with the horns. Not a gazelle, though. Is it
antelope?
Is it antelope? Is it a form of water buffalo? Bison thing?
I mean, it depends. Was it big and hairy and fuzzy?
Yeah.
That's probably water buffalo.
Okay, but they're also kind of scrawny. They're not like bulky. They're kind of, because everything in the Sahara has to be fast.
Yeah, like they need to learn to be quicker than everything else.
Yeah, they eat them.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so it was one of those, whatever. So it was just a pack of those, and it's like, oh yeah, those aren't normally threatening. And so they get out and put food out, but then it's like, the animals are like, hey, there's food over there.
Yeah,
so they all start trying, and everyone's like trying to rush to get into the car, and then all of a sudden it's like they're hit by, like, you know, the car almost tips over. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, you guys are idiots.
Why did you get out? Why did you get out and get food?
Yeah.
It's like, even if it's meat and these animals aren't,
but that's the
carnivores.
That's the modern day, like, softness that we have, is that there's so many people that don't have a respect for nature.
That's the most important thing.
They think they respect nature because they're like, oh, I want to preserve the trees and the animals. And it's like, you think you respect nature, but you have no respect for nature.
Yes, you don't have the self-preservation of respect.
You don't have the fear of nature.
Because, like,
and I don't mean fear in the sense of, like, actual, like, terror.
Yeah, no.
I mean fear as in a high respect, an acknowledgement,
true respect of this creature, what it can do, what it has the power to do. And say, which is why I think our generation Steve Irwin.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I think our generation looked at him as this hero, but forgot that he understood what
Yeah,
they were.
He
It's
respected
like,
animals.
yeah, because we're like, we look at him and we're like, dude, I want to be like him and deal with all these creatures, and then it's like, yeah, but he understood what he was doing.
You're right, and he got bit a lot.
Yeah.
Holy crap! And eventually killed him.
Well, technically, he died. I think with vacation is what it was. He went into the water, got stung by stingrays.
Stingray, yeah, and the barb to the heart when he pulled it out, the poison.
Yeah, which is it's interesting because he knew there was a potential chance, but it's like he also did know that it's like, well, if I don't do this, I am dead.
Yeah, leaving it in was more of a gamble. It's like, okay, I either leave it in and die, or I take it out and I'm okay. I could be okay.
Yeah, because does the poison get into me quicker than I can pull it out, or it's like,
yeah, it's unfortunate, but on that note, that's why, like recently, I think I've told you off the show, but so I went over to my aunt's house for Christmas, and they have a Great Dane. I think it's a Great Dane, like with the gray ones, the like really big Great Dane that.
That is correct, right?
Its head comes up to my waist.
Okay, that's not that tall. Was it a pup?
No, that is tall. I'm tall.
Yeah, but you're like 6'1".
6 foot, yeah.
Okay.
I
guess I don't consider that tall, but yes,
no,
you're still right.
On its hind, like down.
Oh, okay, on all fours. Yeah, that's still pretty tall. Yeah.
Yeah, and when he gets up, he's way taller than I am.
Yeah, he's probably about 6'3", 6'4".
Something like that. Yeah, that sounds right. But so this thing, is the friendliest dog ever. He's just coming around wanting to get lovin's from everybody. And I'm just sitting there like, this dog could kill all of us before we could react. Before anyone, because I'm like, I'm sure there's guns here and we'd be able to defend ourselves. But it'd be like one person tops is making it out of here alive. Like by the time we get to the gun and because this dog, if it wanted to, we're all dead.
Yeah, but that's the craziest thing though, right? Because there is the level that we have that makes us more dangerous than animals, which is we think that rational thought, which is I'm going to hit this person, drop them, hurt them, whatever I need to disable them, and then I'm going to move to the next one. Where animals don't have that thought. They think, I'm going to rip this person apart, and then once it stops moving, that's when
I'll move to the next one.
Yeah,
right.
so like, you do have
to give someone more time to react.
Yeah, you do have a little bit more time, but granted, freaking animal like that, lion, freaking dog that can truly destroy you. Yeah.
Super friendly dog. But
does get the thought process to do something like that. You are kind of screwed.
Yeah, but I was just thinking, I was like, I don't think, aside from what's Jonathan's dog's name?
Gunner.
Aside from Gunner, that's the only other really actually big dog I've been around. And I'm just like, how awesome is it that as human beings we can be like, hey buddy, why don't we be friends?
And it's just
this animal that could kill you anytime it wanted, and it's like, yeah, I'll do it.
Oh yeah,
I'll be your friend.
And like I love it because like you've seen Gunner, and Gunner, as I told you before, like because you told me the story and I was thinking about Gunner at that time, like I've seen him mad or defensive mode once or twice, and it scared me. Like because I knew he wouldn't do anything to me, but like I was like, oh my god, that's horrifying. Like I kind of grew a healthy respect for him, even though I saw him grow up as a puppy, and I was like, oh, you're just a little thing. But it's like that moment, I was like, oh right, you are an animal that can just mess up somebody very freaking quickly.
Yeah, you could kill someone if you wanted to.
And like, and when he did it, I grabbed him by the collar, and because he is domesticated or whatever you want to call it, people will be like, he loves you. But it's like, no. But because he's domesticated enough that he sees me as someone over him, he didn't pull on me. Like, he pulled on me a little bit, but not with the strength that when we're playing.
He clearly has.
Yeah, when we're playing and he doesn't hold back, he has pulled me away, and I'm like, oh my god, I couldn't stop you if you were going. But because I grabbed his collar when he was like, I want to tag that person, he was like, you don't want me to do anything, but I'm going to let that person know that I don't want to do.
Yeah, that I'll mess him up at the first chance.
Exactly.
As soon as someone tells me to mess you up, I'm messing you up.
Yeah,
so,
but
you better hold me back.
Yeah, it's like that guy, that bro, that you're
hold me back,
hold me back, and you're like, all right, don't do anything. He's like, thanks, man. He's like,
you know I'd mess him up.
Yeah, it's like those guys. You're like, you're just a pansy.
Yeah.
Whatever. But with a dog, they're just like,
especially a freaking mastiff. Well, that's the thing is I have no respect for little like Chihuahuas and Pomeranians.
They're the worst dogs.
They'll bulk up and be like, oh, I'm a big tough guy. I'm like, shut up, stupid dog. I can kick you and you die.
Oh yeah, but they're the worst dogs because they have the dog attacks. Most of the percentage-wise is done by those small dogs.
Exactly.
And it's like terriers, Chihuahuas. They're like, they don't listen to anybody. They get in their head that I'm gonna mess up that big thing.
Well, on that same note, it definitely being around like Gunner and Great Danes and stuff like
Yeah.
that, it did totally 100% cement all dogs act the same. They do not know what size they are.
No, they do not.
all act the same.
Yeah.
They all just want loving, and they want to sit in your lap, and they
Yep.
want to sit on the couch, and they want to lean against you while you pet them, and they want to jump up on you, and none of them know how big they are.
Not at all. Dude, Gunner's the worst about it because, like, the leaning, he loves to hug, which is what I've been told leaning is
Okay.
them hugging you.
Yeah, because they're feeling more of your
Yeah, because
warmth
like
impression.
it's weird because I think it's pretty accurate. It's like he wraps his body around me and
and
like
then starts leaning.
yeah, and
that's
uncomfortable. What I would consider uncomfortable,
Yeah,
but
that's
to
totally
him
fine.
he's like it's whatever.
Yeah.
And like he does that, and I'm like, hey buddy, and then I'll sit down on the couch and he's like, I weigh 175 pounds. I'm gonna lay in your lap, and you're like, no,
No, please
get
don't.
off me, because like a human that lays on your lap, weighing about that same weight, realizes they weigh about that weight and doesn't put all of their. They don't go dead.
Yeah, exactly. They don't just go dead weight.
Yeah, they just put like enough on you to be like, I'm gonna rest my head here. And so now you have like maybe 5-10 pounds on you. And it's like
not all of your weight
yeah,
at
but
once.
dude,
Yeah.
that dog's just like, let me
it's so
crush
funny.
your legs, and you're like, I can't move. This dog has pinned me down.
Yeah, dogs are cool.
I mean, as I've gotten older, I've learned to like dogs.
Yeah.
I did not like dogs growing up.
I
And
don't like cats.
it's weird because like I say I didn't like dogs growing up. That's not true. My first pet was a dog. It was a mutt, and I called her Twilight.
Okay.
She was adorable. She got ran over by a car.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
sad.
my second dog was Twinkles. Got ran over by a car.
Man, you and these
And so,
gay names.
dude,
Talk
I
about
was-
gay names.
I
Jeez.
loved it. I loved it because they were just adorable little dogs to me.
Twilight and Twinkle.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, I also wore pink, so whatever.
I think we're gonna end it here. It's been nice.
But no, like that moment, I think was the moment I looked at a dog the other day.
Yeah, I don't want to. I don't want to talk about gay dogs.
Whatever. But those were the moments that I was like, I don't want a dog because they didn't listen.
They all just die.
Well, no, they didn't listen when like the door was open and like we took them to training and did all this stuff. But like I was young, so I didn't really properly train them.
Right.
But, like,
right.
I did understand they needed it, and like I was upset that they didn't listen to my parents or myself, and they just ran outside and got ran over. And so I was
we
like,
have a
cats are
running joke. We have a running joke with Prather that everything he loves dies.
oh god.
Yeah, cause like
But he's had Bear so long.
yeah, Bear's the one that has last sense because he doesn't love Bear. He pretends.
Oh yeah, you're right. Because there's moments I watch him, I'm like, I'm nicer to Bear than you are.
Yeah, I'm just it's just picking though. 'Cause,
Oh yeah,
like,
it's definitely.
I don't remember. It's just like he had a cat and then it got ran over. He had another cat and it died. And then
He's
I
had
think
so many cats.
yeah, pretty much every animal. He even had a guinea pig and then the guinea pig died because it got eaten by one of his other pets.
Did it get eaten by his dog?
I think I think Bear ate it.
Yeah, I
It
thought
didn't eat it.
No,
But it killed it though.
played with it, or
Violently,
maybe.
without knowing.
Yeah, I was like
Right.
maybe like a. I almost said the wrong word, but like a child that doesn't know that
Right.
you shouldn't hug a dog at this tiny
A gerbil.
animal. Yeah, this
Yeah.
much.
No, yeah, exactly. Kids do that without realizing it.
Yeah, it's super sad. But animals do the same thing where they're like, I just want to play with you, have fun.
Right. But
Oh.
yeah, so we just had a running joke for years that it's like anything he loves dies.
That's sad.
But now he's had a cat and a dog for a few years now and they're fine.
Yeah, how long is that? He's had Alice. I forget. I actually like Alice. Alice has a lot of personality. For a cat that just lays there a lot.
Alice is a cat that has not bothered me yet.
Yeah, but I mean,
Aside from being a cat.
you know, like, that's just the thing that gets me. Is like I've seen cats that just lay, and when those type of cats, like Alice just lays around for the most part, as far as I've seen, but she has energy.
How come like every few months we go on entire 30-minute tangents about animals?
I think because at the end of the day, we both love animals, just not the way other people say
More
they
than
love
pet
animals.
owners do.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like
Going back to that, we love animals more than any pet owner. And that caused a lot of controversy last time I said it, and I'm saying it again because it's the truth.
it's not been proven wrong, at least in my eyes.
Not yet.
Like, but yeah,
I
like
don't know, maybe that one guy, what was his name, the Tiger King or whatever? Maybe he loves animals more than I do.
never watched that.
I don't know. I've never known anything about it. I just know it's called the Tiger King.
Yeah,
Isn't that right? I don't know.
Yeah, it's totally called the Tiger King. I think there's
Okay.
supposed to be a second season that they tried to do.
Oh, I don't know what it's about or anything. I just figured, I heard it was like a documentary.
I
And I was like,
feel
oh,
like it's a mockumentary, like
Okay.
in the vein of being a documentary, but like in reality they're just like we get views.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like
Mhm.
I haven't watched it. I've been told a lot about
I
it.
mean, if you get views, you get views.
I mean, that seems to be what anyone cares about. Like, you look at the
nowadays,
news,
right?
you look at anything else, it's like, they just want the views.
Yeah. Fear sells. We need to start doing that. Let's start being more fearful. Because fear sells. Let's start saying
life and death!
you're all gonna die. Fear. Run. Cower in the streets. I mean in the gutters.
In the streets?
Don't cower in the streets.
That's
Well,
a very
do,
dangerous place. Don't do
die.
it.
No, I don't know. I just
But I do like animal conversations. Because I just think animals are really
I don't know, I
cool.
thought we were supposed to be talking about Lord of the Rings.
Well, we talked about Lord of the Rings, and then we jumped to amalgamations of like
Fantasy characters,
Yeah.
right? And then I made a bunch of jokes about lions being in charge of England.
and then we went on to that. Yeah.
Sorry everybody.
Yeah, you derailed that so hard.
Yeah, it was intentional,
It was
but
like-
not intentional.
I totally had a thing that I was going to say about all that, but it's whatever now.
Oh yeah, so what was it about how Mr. Hood and or Sir Hood, I should say, Baron Hood, and
Baron would probably be better.
Ragnar?
Ragnar.
So they are most likely a combination of their family lineage
Yes.
versus being a single person.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Or even versus being a mythos, where like they have a mythos, but there's a higher chance they were real people due to the fact that we have a family line that we're like, they have these people. And it's like, their names were the correct names for the people that we believe they were. And it's like, but we don't know their story fully because it wasn't written out properly. Like, Robin Hood is believed to actually be during the times of the Franks and Saxons. And so, like, the war that we know that the King George fights in was that time period.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how it goes about it is where people have questions and differences is because if King George was fighting the Franks during this time period, well, Robin Hood, whoever his name was, would have been, due to his age and being a baron's son, would have actually been in the war.
Unless he was a draft dodger.
But if he was a draft dodger, he would have been excommunicado.
Which is why he had an alias.
No, because we know that story-wise, there was a particular baron during that time period that did lose his home, which is Robin Hood's actual, what we consider actual storyline,
Mm-hmm.
is that his father had his baron removed.
And
His
that's
title.
why we get Valentine's Day.
No. But like
Happy Valentine's Day.
I don't know.
y'all.
I find history interesting. So like, especially when you're looking at mythological creatures, people that may or may not have existed. And then
I'm so sorry.
And then you look at their crazy things, and you're like,
I'm trying not to cough directly into the mic.
but you look at them and you're like, did they exist? And if they did exist, what could be the reason? Not what the reason they lived, but like, why do we believe the way that we do about them? And like, Robin Hood went through this whole crazy storyline where we're like, he stole from the rich and gave to the poor, but it's actually believed that he stole from the rich and gave to himself and his merry men, and he was literally just a thief.
Yeah.
Not an actual good person, but due to the fact that he was religious, and there was, I know somewhere off there was the church, and he did give to them.
Okay.
And so people were like, he's a good person. And it's like, no, he gave money to some of the poor into the church of these certain towns
Good old saint.
to get them to believe in him and help him and hide him. So it wasn't actually a good act. It was an act of preservation. It was like, oh yeah, they're hunting us down. We need the people to be on our side.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Crap, there was something I was going to say, and then I got distracted thinking about what you were saying.
Love that moment. Get lost in a thought, and you're like, oh, I had it. I'm keeping it right here, and then it's gone.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I was just going to talk about modern garbage that we don't need to get into at the time.
I love
We can
garbage.
do it later.
Oh yeah. That's
But Valentine's Day is coming up. By the time this comes out, it should be like a week or two away.
the worst holiday. Only reason, my main reason for hating it is literally I have so many birthdays around that time period. And it's like, so I don't think about.
Well, you know the story of Valentine's Day?
Yeah, the Valentines, the ones that got murdered. And,
Yeah, exactly. The entire family got killed.
yeah, and we celebrate their hearts.
Yeah, because
their heart
their
ripped
family
out.
crest was the heart.
I thought it was because their heart was also ripped out.
No, the family crest was a heart symbol, and so then that's where we got the Valentine's Day, is because the Valentines were murdered.
On this day or whatever.
And their
day.
family crest was a heart, so we give hearts to each other. And I guess Hallmark decided to turn it into a money-making machine.
Isn't that the best thing about capitalism? We can turn something horrible.
Yeah.
Like, I know other people will be like, no, that's not the best thing about capitalism. But, like, really, we could turn something truly awful and terrible and make it something that the society and the world
I wouldn't say that's
treats.
a good thing.
The reason
I'm not a fan of Hallmark.
The reason I say good is because, like, you can make anything bad into something worth celebrating and looking at it differently than what you normally would, which would be a day of mourning or whatever.
People think about Hallmark. Hallmark somehow has convinced people to buy cards for every occasion instead of just writing a note.
Dude, there's President Day cards. Who buys those?
You could just write a note to the person.
Or, I mean, if they're close by, just say something to them.
Yeah, but I understand the value of being like, look, I'm giving you a thing that you personally get to read. I'm not going to say it out loud. It's just for you.
Save it and whatever.
I get the value of that. I do.
I mean, I guess I just never understood sentimental values.
I don't understand the value of something that you went to a store, read, looked around, and were like, that one, get well soon. That's exactly my sentiments from Austin. Here you go, buddy. Spend $2 on it.
I hope you feel what I was thinking at that moment, which is that I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. I spent $2 to tell you absolutely nothing because I got you a card that says "Get well soon" because I know you're in the hospital, and I signed it as though I did it.
Yep, dude, it is such a silly thing.
And I'm like, this is dumb. Why didn't you just write in a card "Get well soon"? Like literally, just go get a piece of paper and write "Get well soon" in it, and fold it in half and put it in an envelope. And then give it to the person.
I think I'll still be just as annoyed. Like, I get annoyed when I receive
but at least you didn't spend $5.
Yeah, true. At least you were frugal enough, really, to save yourself some money to still be an asshole. Because that's what a card is. It's literally just being a jerk or whatever. I know some people look at it and be like, oh, well, I was thinking about them, that's why I got them the card. It's like, if you were thinking about them, why didn't you call them? Or go to wherever they're at?
Well, I noticed that you just turned, 30, so I wanted to give you a card that said you turned 30.
Yeah, and you're like...
Cost $7.
Like, honestly, at that point...
I don't understand.
Did you spend $7 and give me a tiny shot glass? I would have loved that way more.
That'd be way better, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like... Because then it's like, you thought of me in a way, even if I don't ever use that shot glass, you thought of me in a way that...
Or buy me a couple tacos.
Yeah. It's like, spend the money on them in an actual meaningful way. Like...
Wow, that's nothing.
Like, so let's say, like, because if you think about other people, something I've learned recently, it's like, thinking about other people really means... I say recently, but I've actually done this my whole life, really. But spending time or whatever with people when you're doing something for them, it should be something that you know them well enough, or even if you think you know them well enough and you don't truly, but you put some thought into it. You put something that you think would mean something to them.
Yeah, I just realized though, I agree with you, but I just realized that I think you and I might not be the right people to talk about this because I doubt either of our love languages are gifts.
Actually, my love language is giving gifts.
Giving gifts?
Yeah, I love gifts.
Not receiving gifts.
No, I hate it. That bothers me.
Because I have no gifts in my love languages at all.
Oh.
I don't care about receiving gifts. I don't really care about giving gifts. My like number one and basically the only one is time.
See, my number one is quality time.
And that's why this show works. It's because both of us are like, yeah, we like sitting down.
Yeah, I love it. But like, the two that are tied is after that is words of affirmation and giving gifts.
Words of affirmation is not bad.
Like, for some reason,
I don't think I'm huge on that one either. I'm pretty sure it pretty much is just time for me.
Well, words of affirmation is like, don't compliment me, it weirds me out.
Mm-hmm.
But like, periodically, like, we say I love you to each other.
Yeah.
Like, that
it's not very frequent, but we do.
I don't need it all the time because that bothers me if you start saying it a lot.
Honestly,
I start getting weirded out.
I'm glad it's not frequent because then I think it would lose a meaning.
Yeah, and it weirds me out if you say it too much because then I'm like, what do you want from me?
Like, I think it's strange.
I think it makes me paranoid, actually.
I think it's really strange to use I love you as a goodbye. Like on a phone with family and stuff. It's become such a habit, but I feel like it's lost in meaning. Like whenever I'm hanging up on a family member and I'm like, all right, I love you. I'm like, well, wait, I should actually say this way less. Because then whenever I do say it, it'll mean way more than if it's just every time I get off the phone with you.
I mean, I do agree, but I also recently, in the past 5, 6 years, whatever, not really recently, but I started believing...
recent in the grand scheme of things.
But I started believing that I'm like, it's important to tell people you love them. It's important to tell them you care. And like, I started doing it with my friends more often than I used to because I was like, I think even they need to hear that you love them.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Like, because growing up, I felt like I was taught or shown in movies and other stuff like that and TV shows where like best friends say I love you to each other, and one of them's like, stop being gay, weird guy, you know?
Oh,
Where it's
see, I
like,
don't really remember that.
I remember that in TV shows, like Nick shows and like the kiddie shows where it's
Okay.
like growing up, it's just like, oh man, you're saying stuff to me where it's like they're kids reacting to
gay
something.
stuff.
Yeah, they're kids
Yeah.
reacting to it in like a weird way, but it's
Gotcha.
like that's how it felt like growing up, where it's just like
It's
you should
actually
say that.
it's important. It
Yeah,
is.
and it's like, but no, as I got older, I realized I'm like, it feels good when my friends tell me they love me, and like, just like I've told my friends that they're sexy, they're beautiful, they're this.
Yeah, which I think that's a fun one. I
It's
like that you do that because I'm like, I know that someone's gonna like either they'll laugh about it, which there you go, that's a win.
Yeah.
Or they'll be like, that was really nice.
Exactly, and like
so I like that you do that. I think that's a fun one.
That was that fell into the same thought process about the same time where I was like, they need to be told you love them, and they need to be told that they're pretty because guys don't get that often. So I definitely do more of my guy friends than I do my female friends because sometimes my female friends act weird about it.
I get it all the time, but that's I'm an exception.
But you get what I'm saying, where it's like your guy friends
I have
don't
men
hear
walk
that.
up to me all the time telling me how sexy I am.
That's weird.
All the time. I get it all the
Like
time.
it shouldn't be weird, but it is a weird thought to be like some guys are walking up to you just like, hey, sexy.
Yeah, I get it a lot. What can I say? I'm handsome.
But yeah, no, I think that's actually super important that affirmation for them that they are beautiful people, no matter like because sometimes people may wake up and look in the mirror and be like, I'm an ugly person, and then like
true.
I call them and we talk to them and I talk to them on the phone or whatever, and I'm like, you're beautiful. He's like, I want that to counterbalance their own depression or thoughts. Yes.
Yeah.
Where it's like, someone told you today at least that you're beautiful.
I think that's a really good and admirable thing to do. On the notion of telling people I love you, like your family members, I think there's a balance because you're absolutely right that it does need to be stated more because I don't remember, it doesn't matter, because what if it is the last time you talk to the person? Wouldn't it be good to end it where it's like, hey, at least, before I left, I got to remind you that I do love you.
I do care. Whatever.
And it's like, it sucks to think negatively like that, but, just being realistic.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I do think it can be too frequent to where it's like, yeah, it doesn't mean